Saddle up. Hey, I got a lot of energy tonight. I don't know why. It's Sunday.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I feel like I shouldn't have this much energy, but I do. And we're back. Episode 5 of the One Trick Ponies podcast. I am Kanyon Cooksley. And like I just mentioned, I'm here with my co-host, Caleb Galloway. Uh, Caleb, we haven't spoke much this last week, but a lot happened in sports.
Yeah, it's been super busy. Super busy. Every day is pretty much a major event.
Yeah, I've just personally with my job, I've been kind of all over the place. Had baseball this weekend, golf today, golf tomorrow. We got softball moving ahead. It's just, yeah, I've been kind of all over the place. And the good thing with a friendship like ours is I can literally, like, I try to have friends where I can literally go 2 months without speaking to them. I hope that never happens. But like when we talk, we can just like pick up like where we left off, right? There's no like awkward, like, oh, hey, like, how are you doing? So the good thing with us is we haven't talked for a week, but here we are recording a podcast. We're on the same page, and like I said, there's a shit ton of stuff to talk about within sports.
Yeah. Big itinerary this week. Some quick topics, some ones we're going to talk a little bit longer about. Um, but tons of stuff happened this week in sports.
And since I last week swore to never speak about this human again, I will let you start the podcast with the NCAA national championship for the men. It happened the night we were recording. We didn't know the results yet, obviously.
Yeah.
Results are finally in. People probably listening or are watching right now already know the results, but just kind of our thoughts and input on it.
Yeah, we'll keep it brief. UConn beat up the Boilermakers of Purdue. It's 75-60. Zach Edey didn't have a tremendous game. Let me see if I can pull up his stats right quick. He had 37 and 10. So that's a pretty damn good game, actually. But nobody else really could get anything going for them. UConn had their leading scorer with 20 points. Stephen Castle had 15 points. Klingon only had 11. So 75-60. UConn is your reigning defending champions. Kind of what everybody expected. Nothing too out of the ordinary there.
Yeah, UConn has something like they're doing something up east that's like working. They
Yeah.
have just Dan Hurley and the Huskies have just found a system, a scheme, and they are just killing. And I truly think, and along with South Carolina for women's basketball, I think those two programs are going to be successful for a very long time. I mean, unless
Yeah.
something like traumatic happens and like a big scandal, hopefully that doesn't break out where it's like the program gets buried in the dirt. uh, I just think those two programs, UConn men's basketball and South Carolina women's basketball, they have a very bright future for 5, 10, couple,
Yeah.
many
As long
years
as
in the
their
making.
respective coaches stay, I think they'll be in good shape. I mean, Don Staley's amazing, and Hurley is also amazing. Just kind of the change of subject. We're gonna be kind of quick on the championship. Like I say we don't want to spend too much time on it, but talking about coaches, Kentucky landed their new coach, um, Mark Pope.
Yep.
I didn't know much about him.
So he's coming from BYU, and BYU they made the tournament this year, but they were bounced in the first round by Duquesne. Uh, I don't know how I feel about the hiring. I think they were running out of candidates. They offered, I know many individuals. Nate Oates that declined. Hurley declined. They tried to get a big name in there, and I think Hope was kind of just like we'll just I don't want to say settle for him because he is a good coach. He has helped lead a very successful BYU program for many years. I think like they were just kind of running out of options, and they brought in a guy who I think might not meet the standards of what fans were hoping for, but nonetheless still a very well-rounded coach.
So I looked him up. He's actually a Kentucky alum. He played basketball at Kentucky in the early 90s and actually won a championship with them. And he also is one of the tallest coaches in D1. He's at 6'10".
I knew he was tall because I remember in the tournament this year, uh, like they were like commenting on his height,
Yeah, he's
like
6'10". I was like,
in
Jesus.
between breaks. So yeah, he signed for a 5-year deal, worth about 5.5 million per season. So he does have connection. I forgot to mention that, and I'm happy you brought that up. So it might seem like a desperate signing, but there is still some like underlining connections there.
Yeah, not completely
not,
out, just random.
yeah. So well, yeah, and that probably makes a lot of alumni happy that they're getting an alumni and bringing him back to their school. So that could probably help with a lot of financial stuff around the program.
Backings and stuff like that.
So
Yeah,
I'm curious now because now it's a new era for Kentucky. We talked about this last week where we were so used to Coach Cal, like Coach Cal, Kentucky. Just that he was him, Roy Williams, Bill Self, all those guys. They've just been like figures in the coaching world of Division I men's basketball. So to now have a change of scenery with Cal going to Arkansas and Coach Polk coming to Kentucky, it's just going to be different this year. I'm curious what changes he makes because again, Kentucky just like that style of playing a lot of youth and not getting a lot of vets kind of built around that.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird to see what happens with that. It's gonna be odd to see Calipari and the Arkansas burgundy colors. We kind of talked about that last week, but it's gonna be weird to see.
I'm happy they did find somebody. That's just when a school is putting that, like as an Alabama fan, when Saban stepped down, as a fan, you kind of just get that like, oh shit, transfers start happening, you start losing commits. Like, how long is this process going to happen? Are we going to keep losing these individuals? Are other coaches going to leave because were they Calipari guys or were they Saban guys? Or is the new coach, is he going to try to bring on new staff and kick out the old staff? There's a lot of like questions that are thrown out during that time, and I'm happy that they finally put that to rest I would say quite quickly after the Calipari news broke. So yeah, I think
what I saw about the Kentucky guys is Bradshaw is already announced that he will transfer. I assume if Wagner doesn't get drafted, he will probably transfer. Because I know now you can declare, and if you don't get drafted, you can transfer. That's actually, I didn't realize that rule had changed.
Yes, and I saw that they also lost. They lost. I want to say it was either a 4 or 5-star big man. He like re-entered the portal or re-entered the
classification or commitment stage.
Commitment, yeah. So he's
interesting. He decommitted.
Yes,
that's the word.
Yes. So, well, that's something to pay attention to. I don't think they didn't get as much backlash as like when they lost Saban. Again, I'm just comparing that because that's something that I was paying attention very closely to. So, and now, sad news. Some are sad. Probably some are happy. Probably some feel about it. OJ Simpson passed away. I was looking before the podcast, Caleb. Obviously, he was the one, OJ Simpson. I mean, I feel like everybody knows OJ Simpson. I remember in college, I had a class, and we literally had like a segment of the class where we talked about OJ Simpson and how like he was kind of that first guy that had like deals with companies and was in commercials. He was like one of those first athletes to ever like step into that kind of
to the fame.
Yes, and he was the one who pleaded not guilty for murdering his ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend I think Ronald Goldman, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. So OJ Simpson is that news, did OJ do it? That's like always like the main question. And And now, unfortunately, with this passing, you never want to see someone pass away. But then again, sometimes, there are terrible people out in this world, and them
Yeah.
leaving this world is probably for the better than.
Yeah. I saw it best on ESPN. It was, I forgot who was talking about it, but one of their reporters. And they said OJ Simpson will be remembered in 3 ways by 3 generations. You have your first generation with he was a superstar athlete and the first player to rush for 2,000 yards in a season. Which I didn't know that stat. I didn't realize he was the first one to do that. You have your second generation that remembers all the trials and the Bronco and everything. Then you have the third generation who doesn't give a shit.
Yep.
And I was like, that's exactly how I would put it too. I believe probably me and Kanyon fall in that third generation. I can probably say it's like, oh, it sucks, but it doesn't. It didn't. I saw it 15 minutes later. I didn't care.
I think, yeah, because I think when I was at work, one of my colleagues who was older than me, he had a completely different thought process of the whole news. Like for me, it was like, oh, hey, did you see OJ Simpson die? He's like, yeah, man, that's he was a crazy athlete. Like I remember, back in his football days, he was one to watch. And then I was like, oh yeah, yeah, it's pretty sad. It's yeah, I do think we fit in that generation where it's like,
yeah, I was like,
man, it sucks, but
I remember him not most, but like the most. When I hear OJ Simpson, there's a video of him 12 minutes after Andrew Luck retired. Him complaining about because he just drafted him to his fantasy team. If you've ever watched the video, go watch the video of Andrew Luck complaining about. OJ complaining about Andrew Luck. It's the funniest thing. He's like, man, what I do to you, Andrew? I thought we were friends. I drafted you to my fantasy football team, and then you retire. What is that? And he's sitting this big old bar, and everybody jumps and stuff. It's hilarious. Somebody, if you're watching this, go watch that video.
Yeah. So he passed away at the age of 76. And it was from
Cancer,
right? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
And
he lived a long life. 76 is pretty long life.
Yeah, and especially with all the stress and probably punishment he went throughout his life. I know I read a report where his friends and family kind of said leading up to his death, he was not very well. He was struggling, and they kind of figured out that death was going to happen soon. So he passed away. We're in that generation. Yeah, it's sad, but I know this news affects different people, different age groups, like you said. So,
yep.
Something that has been in the headlines for a while now, Caleb. And I hinted at. I think when did I hint at it? I hinted at it the second episode or the first episode of the Shohei Ohtani news.
Yeah,
that's when it was originally kind of just cracking the surface of the media, and people were talking about it. And I found a timeline of all of this.
Okay.
And it dates back all the way to 2013. So and not the fact that not the fact that the betting was happening and all of that. It was when Ohtani and his interpreter met. So they met back in 2013. Ohtani was playing baseball in Japan. He was still 18. That's when he kind of met who I don't want to butcher his name. Ipe. Okay, yeah. We're gonna call him Ipe. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, so we'll call him Ipe. So Shohei Ohtani and Ipe, they met in 2013 when Ohtani was still 18. He was just becoming this phenomenal baseball player over in Japan. And then, he was allowed to come over to the United States. Shohei Ohtani signed with the Angels. And so the bank account for Ohtani to have his Angels salary deposited in, Ipe would use for his bets. Like that's when it was opened. So in 2018, the bank account that Ipe started using for his bets opened. So if you haven't heard about this news, essentially Ipe, Ohtani's translator, stole $16 million?
Yeah, something crazy. 16 I think that sounds right.
It's like millions of dollars from Ohtani on sports gambling. He was opening. I saw he was opening like he would just like put down these crazy parlays and like bets, and he would pretty much just do this on Ohtani's money.
Yeah.
And
bought sports cards with it.
Yes, I saw that. So this individual, let me find his name. Matthew Boyer. He was so Ipe starts betting with Matthew Boyer's Orange County Sportsbook through a mutual associate. That started happening September 8th, 2021. So Ipe wires 40,000 of apparently his own money to Boyer the first time. So right out of the gate, $40,000. Just
yeah, it's crazy.
He's probably making as an interpreter for now one of the biggest names in all of baseball. But at that time, I don't know how much $40,000 was to him. 2021, Ohtani won his first ever MVP. So December 8th, 2021, so a couple months later, $50,000 to Boyer. So he just keeps doing this over and over and over again. And what I thought was interesting, on January 2nd of 2022, Matthew Boyer, loans Ipe $50,000 to reload his account after he lost it all. So there's just a lot of debt going on, a lot of money just being spent and like carelessly. Ipe wires $300,000. It keeps adding up, So then recently, so Ohtani goes to the Dodgers, signs the biggest contract, 10-year, $700 million. And then $680 million of it was deferred for 10 years. So Boyer texts Ipe over unpaid gambling debts and is growing impatient. So after the Ohtani news, they're in the news. This is the time to kind of go after him. If you were going to go after him, like this is the right time. You take them down when they're up. You'll get the most eyes and attention on it. So they keep having these tense exchanges. Ipe responded so Boyer said, "I know you're busy, but you need to show me some respect. I put my neck out here. Call me tonight. I don't care what time or how late it is." Ipe responded, "I'm so sorry, bro. I really don't mean to disrespect you at all. I promise. It's just been super, super busy. I've got other issues on the side going on too. Everything has been really, really tough recently. I don't think you ever gave me the new bank account information. Can I please get that? I'm going to try to send something tomorrow." So it sounds like a built-in excuse. And then they keep having these very, very tense exchanges. It hits the news, and Ohtani's brought into it. Did Ohtani know? Is this something that Ohtani was doing and Ipe was just the cover-up? Like all of this stuff started breaking out. And so Ohtani on April 2nd and 3rd, he got interviewed by federal investigators to see if he was truly in on it. And then April 11th, so a couple days ago, federal prosecutors charged Ipe with bank fraud for stealing more than $16 million from Ohtani to pay off his gambling debts from an illegal bookie. So just a terrible, terrible situation, and not something the biggest name in baseball wants to be tied up in.
Yeah, exactly.
I also don't think Ohtani's off to a very good start with the Dodgers. So it's just I'll look at his stats here.
He has a couple home runs.
Yeah, 4 home runs. Okay, so he's batting 343, but
I was that. So I think he's actually doing pretty good.
I guess I thought he was struggling. I thought Betts was carrying that team. So yeah, I'll bite my tongue on that. And he's doing pretty good, but just a distraction you have to deal with now.
Yeah,
and you're going to be looked at differently going forward. There's always going to be the people that say, "I know you were in on it."
unnecessary attention.
Correct. So that has been kind of all over the baseball news as of late, especially now with iPay being charged with bank fraud. I just don't know. Did he think he was truly going to get away with it?
Criminals are idiots.
That is true. There's very, very few smart criminals.
Exactly.
I feel like after watching how many seasons of Criminal Minds, the criminals always get caught in the end.
Never seen it.
You've never seen Criminal Minds?
Never.
That is like one of my fiance and I's favorite shows to watch. You've never seen Criminal Minds?
Nope. I don't watch a lot of TV.
CSI? Like Miami?
Which one's got the old gray-haired dude and the chick with the glasses?
You're describing every investigating show out there.
Exactly. They all blend together.
But Criminal Minds does have an old guy with gray hair and a girl with
she does the communications.
Yes, Penelope.
I think I've seen an episode of that one. Anyways.
Well, yes. So yeah, what I've learned from Criminal Minds is every criminal gets caught. There's very few smart criminals out there, and iPay is a dumbass. To be honest, he's just a dumbass. So
yeah, I wonder what baseball cards he bought. $325,000 on baseball cards. That's. I bet was it Ohtani's? Do you think no way he reinvested into Ohtani, right?
Heritage baseball.
He just got in a bunch of breaks.
Just imagine him just going to.
He's a gambler.
That is true, and the
I saw
the big gamble in sports cards is always just getting into case breaks and box breaks.
So I saw something just on the off note because kind of we're in that field a lot. I saw that he used an alias when he was doing the buying on eBay and on whatnot, the platforms.
Mm-hmm.
And he was using a Santa Clara address with Jim, Cass or Cat, I don't know, something like that. And somebody showed the receipts and they had shipped a package to that name to Santa Clara. He was like, "Bro, it was Ohtani." He's like, "I swear to God, I sold an Ohtani to him." It was like a $300 rookie too. I was like, "That's pretty crazy." But yeah, no,
so wild. That's just so much money. I cannot just think about having that much money, just being able to throw.
I can't even think about spending my own $300,000. Imagine spending somebody else's illegally
and thinking you're gonna be getting away with it.
Yeah, it's wild.
Wow.
Wow.
And to stick with baseball, we saw one of his last ever AAA games. Now he's in the major leagues.
Major league struggling.
Jackson Holliday, he got his first hit finally today. We're recording this on Sunday, April 14th. He got his first hit today against the Brewers. He went 1 for 4. How many at bats? So 15 at bats, 1 hit. He is batting .067.
Yeah, it's not a great start so far, but he's young. A lot of players have started off very weak and then gotten better. So I mean, you can't judge a kid off his first week in the league. So
I think I saw somebody compare the first couple of games of Cal Ripken to Jackson Holliday, and they're actually very similar.
So yeah,
And again, like he's like 19, 20. He might have
Yeah,
just he might have
he's young.
like
He's a teenager. You
and
can't. I mean, first week it takes a lot the adaptation. Geez,
mhm.
stage to the from AAA to major league. It's there. I mean, he'll be fine once he gets this. The feel for it and the atmospheres and all that stuff. I think he'll start honing in and he'll show why he was the number one prospect for 2 years in a row.
My favorite thing about these call ups is the recorded video of the manager saying, "Hey, you're being called up too." Did you see
Yeah,
Jackson Holiday's?
I didn't see his.
Oh, he was like, "Call your dad," and it was just like it was very emotional. It just gives you chills.
Yeah,
Uh, Again, because he is this child, and his dad, great baseball player, World Series champion Matt Holliday, uh, and the manager's like, you call your dad, and you can tell him that you're going to the big leagues. And there's just
that's
like,
cool.
those moments I could watch those over and over again
Yeah,
throughout the years, because those are always just super cool, and to see it recorded uh, was even more special. And I know something that I think he's gonna have a great career. I think it's something we'll look back on and just know that like this whole process is very special. And for his age, the way he handles things, he's like a grown ass dude. Like he's very, very humble from what I've seen from him. Knows how to carry himself in the locker room. And what probably helps him though is he's going into an Orioles into an Orioles team where they're also very young with him.
yeah,
So it's just like they're all kind of learning together. And Gunnar Henderson, Adley, Colton Cowser, like all those guys will have their struggles. And so Jackson Holiday, I think being able to be in a young organization like the Orioles, it's just going to help them in the long run. And when they all reach their prime and all become their maximum, they reach their maximum talent. I think that team's going to be very, very good.
yeah. I think that team will win a World Series in the next probably I'm gonna say 3 years.
3 years.
I,
I was going to say five. Yeah. So I think we're
I was
kind of
gonna say
splitting.
5, but I think they can win in 3. Um, because if you look at the age of their prospects, other than Holiday, they're kind of already getting to that like early, like 22. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
let's say in 3 years they'll be 25. Adley will probably be I think 30. So hitting prime, I think 3 years they can win a bookmark it. 2027 World Series champs, Baltimore Orioles.
I think it's just up to their pitching, figuring out their bullpen, and then they have a good piece right now in Corbin Burns. So kind of building
Yeah,
with him. They got Grayson Rodriguez too, and I think
he's
he's kind of
he's
he's
looking really
cleaned it
good, right?
up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's looking really. I think he's got a sub 3 ERA right now.
he's cleaned it up. So no, I saw kind of a segment, and this kind of the last. This can kind of be the last point of this topic. So I saw a segment where it was like baseball with how many rounds and how many like picks there are. It's very hard to draft a good draft.
Yeah,
And you got the high school guys too. Like this high school guy might look amazing, but is it going to translate, and how quickly will it translate
exactly.
to the MLB, right? And the Orioles have whatever they've found, they've been killing it in the draft recently. And
Yeah,
now it's like finally all paying off. And I think I saw like the last breaking down the top 20 prospects from I think it was like 2020 or 2019 or whatever it was for the Orioles, and just how successful each one was. And practically all of them are either on the Orioles team or have been traded and now are on another major league team and doing good things or somewhat decent things. So uh,
yeah.
the Orioles, they're special, man. They're very. If you have not watched an Orioles game, they're very very fun to watch. And I don't think I would be saying that. I wasn't saying that 3 years ago. Because
Yeah.
the Orioles were one of the worst teams in baseball.
Yeah, he sucked.
As I grew up as a kid. So
Yep. Well, another thing that was very fun to watch was UFC 300 Saturday night. Man,
oh
can
yeah,
you? Yeah, that was something.
there was so much attention and pressure put on this card. when it first was being talked about and the card was being made, and Jamal Hill and Alex Pereira for the light heavyweight championship was announced, everybody was like,
Are you
"Come
kidding
on,
me?
like that's the main event for UFC 300, a historic card. That is what you're gonna put at the main event." And it was like, and I heard people, saying this better be good, like this better be worth it, because the way
Yeah.
they were promoting it, like, the biggest card ever, the best card ever. There's so much pressure put onto it, and the expectations were set so high. And is it fair to say the expectations were met
I think
somehow
they're exceeded
and
expectation.
Yes.
It was insane.
From the first fight, where so there was 12 champions or former champions on the card. There was 13 fights, and within those 13 fights, there were 12 champions or former champions. The first fight was at bantamweight between two former champions, Cody Garbrandt, Davison Figueiredo. Second round submission, like just out of the gate. Like,
Yeah, just
these guys would be fighting on the main card of any other pay-per-view. These, they would be a main event on a fight night.
I was explaining this to my dad. I was like, every prelim is a good fight night main event.
Yes. Ranked fighter after ranked fighter after ranked fighter. And
yeah.
The finishes on the card, let me see how many finishes there were. So the early prelims, so how UFC does it is early prelims, the prelims, and then the main card. Within the early prelims, Figueiredo submitted Garbrandt, like I mentioned. Bobby Green and Jim Miller, the second fight.
Oh.
The amount of blood. The canvas was painted red after that fight. 2 fights in. Bobby Green, Jim Miller, a fight that has been in the making for, I think, 10 years.
Yeah.
It finally happened. 2 vets of the sport, true gamers of the sport, and they just
brawled
down on their mouth guard and just threw absolute haymakers.
I sent Kanyon a text after that fight, and I was like, this is the goriest MMA fight I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it was Jim Miller looked like, I can't even describe what horror character he looked like, but it was insane.
He had cuts and gashes everywhere on his face. And in the press conference, or the press conference after the main event, the card concluded, Dana White was like, "You don't want to see Jim Miller's face right now."
Yeah.
He said, "Jim Miller's okay. He's in the hospital, but you do not want to see his face right now." He said he's going to be wearing it for a couple of weeks. And
that's crazy.
It just sucked that fight had to happen so early.
Yeah.
It was so great, but then it was quickly forgotten about.
Yeah.
So Jessica Andrade versus Marina Rodriguez. That was a decision. Jessica Andrade won. It was it was a good fight. Wasn't the best one of the night, but it was a good fight. And then Jalen Turner, our guy Caleb, against Renato Moicano. Turner had him.
He pissed me off that fight.
Oh, he had him. One punch knocked him down to the canvas and then didn't finish him. He walked off.
He celebrated.
He was trying to build a moment and trying to create a moment, and he didn't finish him. And then they go to round 2. Renato Moicano takes him down, submits. Oh, come on.
That one pissed me off pretty good.
Yeah.
Me and Kanyon both big Tarantula fans. I was screaming some words at my iPad during that fight.
Yeah. So two finishes, 2 decisions on the early prelims, and then the prelim card. Diego Lopez comes out the gate and
he's a monster.
Flatlines a top 15 fighter in Sadiq Youssef. he's very special. I'm curious what they do with him next. I would give
Yeah.
him maybe around a top 10, 8, 9 guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Who would you say? Who would?
I've heard like Mavsar a rematch because that's where he made his UFC debut, and he almost beat Mavsar, Evil So I heard that. Bryce Mitchell, I heard, is
Okay.
one, a top 15 fighter. I hope not my guy Calvin Cater. And
He didn't look. He didn't look good.
Yeah, we'll get to him very shortly. But yeah, I don't know. He deserves something because he's going to be a star. Diego Lopez is great.
Yeah, he's gonna be very good.
Keila Harrison made her debut. I was so confused. She submitted Holly Holm in the second round. And I was so confused in the first round that Holly Holm tried to grapple with her. Keila
Yeah, that
was like judo champion.
One of the greatest judo wrestlers of all time.
Yeah, one of the best grapplers in female MMA, and Holly Holm tried to grapple with her. And the first round there wasn't a finish, but you could tell that Kayla Harrison had the clear strength advantage. And I was looking at there's a graphic that I saw on my social media how like when she was doing judo, she was like weighing 170 pounds, and she cut down for this fight to 135, and I think she weighed in at 136 because you get a pound allowance. So from the time she was doing judo to now, she's cut so much weight.
Yeah,
and I give her credit for making weight. All 26 fighters made weight, so credit to that. And then Calvin Cater. I hate Aljamain Sterling, bro. I think Calvin landed 4 strikes.
Yeah. That was 4 significant strikes.
He just got wrestled. Yeah, 4 significant strikes. He just got wrestled for 3 rounds. And I just hate those types of fights because, okay, yes, the MMA fan's going to say, the typical MMA fan's going to say, like, oh, Calvin should just work on his wrestling and be able to get out of those situations. But it's not even that. Like, if you're going to wrestle him, I'm okay with that. But do something where you're trying to, like, finish the fight.
Yeah.
And for Aljamain, coming into a new division, he was moving up to featherweight. He was originally a bantamweight champion, former bantamweight champion, moved up to featherweight because the weight cut was getting hard. Like, if you're trying to make a statement in that division, do something that's worth watching.
Yeah, it was stupid. It was, and I like the fights where it's, high level grappling, submission attempts. This was just Aljo laying on Calvin Cater.
There's multiple times where Calvin was just looking at the ref like,
are you gonna do anything?
Yeah, because nothing was happening, and they were in a neutral position where neither guy was advancing or had the advantage.
Yeah, it was just.
I would say that was probably the worst fight of the night.
And for reward, Aljo was the only person who did not get a post-fight interview, which I thought was kind of funny.
I also thought that was funny, and I also saw something when Dana White announced that for UFC 300, fight bonuses were going to be $300K.
Yeah,
Aljo was like the one in the press conference before the fights that was like jumping up and down, like let's go, like yes, like he couldn't wait, and then he put on an absolute snooze fest.
Yeah,
I was like,
you're not getting any money for that. Yeah, he's
especially on a card that you knew that had all these like high level fights. Like you had to like separate yourself.
Yeah,
and
he did.
He as one of the worst.
Yeah.
And to end the prelims, Yuri Prohaska,
he's so good.
He is so good, and it really killed me when Alex Pereira knocked him out. And finished him. That light heavyweight division is just so weird. There's just not a lot of fights to make outside of Yuri Magomed. Jan Blachowicz is hurt right now. Jamal Hill, obviously, we'll get to that in a little bit. There's not a lot of fights to make, and it would probably have matchmakers were probably hoping for Alexander Rakic to win because that's just a new name and a guy that has he's been out with injuries for a while. So just somebody new, some fresh meat at the top of that division. And Yuri said,
made
hell
light
no.
work. Light work.
He ate everything that Rakic threw his way, didn't phase him at all, and then KO'd him. Just threw him to the ground and smashed his face.
Yeah, it was. I think the whole calling him a fake samurai really got to him there. That seemed like that was pissed him off.
Hey, whatever you can find as motivation, I'm all for it. That was his motivation. Don't ever call Yuri Prohaska a fake samurai. So I guess Rakic learned his lesson. Now onto the main card. People were pretty upset when the card order was announced with Bo Nickel being on the main card. I thought the fight was good. Bo Nickel got a submission in the second round over Cody Brundage. He did what I expected him to do.
Exactly.
Wrestled, a world-class wrestler, great college wrestler, former college wrestler at Penn State. He did his job against Cody Brundage. So
he did what Aljo should have done.
Yeah, gotta finish, right? If you easily have an advantage in the grappling and the wrestling exchanges, do something with it.
Yeah.
Calvin clearly couldn't match his grappling. So
yeah.
Grapple him, take him to the ground, finish. Next, a fight that you look at this and if you have no clue what UFC 300 is and you see this as the fourth fight on the main card, you're looking at like what in the actual hell. But Charles Oliveira, number one contender. He was the number one contender in the lightweight. I think it was known as Justin Gaethje, but I think he was still ranked number one. But Charles Oliveira, lightweight division versus Arman Saruki in a top five ranked matchup. That's what I was trying to say. Sorry. And crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy fight. Blood was everywhere. Arman cut Oliveira open multiple times. Charles had two deep submissions, Darce choke, and then a guillotine on Arman. And it was wild that Arman.
I thought it was over in the first round.
Yeah. So this fight right here, where Volk got out of a guillotine, they were comparing what happened with Arman to that fight. Oliveira had a deep guillotine on Arman, and Arman just manpower through it. Mentally tough, got through it, and then he won the other grappling exchanges throughout the fight and defeated Charles Oliveira. So I think after it was announced that Islam and Dustin Poirier are fighting for the belt at UFC 302 in Newark, New Jersey, I think Arman will be next in line.
Yep.
I don't want to take too much time with these last few, but I would say these last three fights were
they were nuts.
Like I didn't know how this next fight was going to go, but I knew it was going to be batshit crazy. And man, was it batshit crazy. If you've logged on social media in the past 48 hours, you've probably seen this KO. And I'm referring to Max Holloway's last 10-second knockout over Justin Gaethje for the baddest motherfucker belt. It was a belt that was created years back for just dudes that just love to entertain fans. They're fan favorites. And Max Holloway and Justin Gaethje are two fan favorites. And Max Holloway moved up to 155. And he was dominating the entire fight. And usually when you're dominating a 5-round fight, those last 10 seconds, when you hear the clicks at the end of the round, and you're ahead, probably just like ease off and just make sure you don't get caught with anything.
Yeah.
Not Max Holloway.
Nope.
This dude said, hey, Justin Gaethje, middle of the octagon, let's just swing. And in the final second of the 5th round, Gaethje just folds. Gets KO'd. That has to be the. I saw the Buckley like kick to the chin that like froze the guy.
Yeah.
I truly think this was a better KO. Just the card, the situation,
The aura around it.
it was amazing. Like I was literally stunned, and
Yeah.
I was in my apartment by myself. I literally said out loud, "Holy fucking shit!"
Yeah. That was kind of my reaction too. I was sitting there. I was on FaceTime with another buddy of mine, and he started talking. I said, "Dude, I need you to shut the hell up right now." I was like, "Dude, I don't think you understand what's going on."
It felt like time froze.
Yeah.
It was the coolest moment, and I'm going to get a canvas of it.
Yeah. And you had Max in the floral shorts finally. So like it was a cool.
Yes.
Just such a awesome finish to a fight.
Yeah, it was great. And if you have, I'm pretty sure if you can go to like any UFC media account, scroll back until Saturday, you'll probably find it. They probably already tweeted out on Sunday, and they're probably going to tweet it out on Monday. It's going to be a KO. It's literally going to be fight of the year, knockout of the year. I think like.
Yeah.
Max got both bonuses for that. He got fight of the night and
performance of the night.
Performance of the night. So he walked away with 600K.
There you go.
Well deserved. So
yeah, it was awesome. Hell of a fight.
Hell of a fight, yeah. Co-main. It just sucks to have like this co-main after that fight. Like you were literally like your soul was sucked out of you. Like I felt like I was watching this next fight as like a zombie. So I was still just amazed by what had happened. And I was retweeting literally every video I saw of it because it was just amazing. I watched it multiple times. But for the strawweight women's belt, Zhang Wei Li versus Yan Xiaonan, 2 China fighters.
It was also a great fight.
Yeah, one of the biggest fights in Chinese MMA. Probably the biggest fight in Chinese MMA history. And yeah, it was amazing. Yan Xiaonan was actually out cold at the end of the first round. And she woke back up and then fought for the rest of the fight, didn't get finished. I think she won either round. I don't know if it was 2 or 3, but I had on my scorecard that she won one of those rounds. I was just like, the fact that she was knocked, like choked out cold, and then she came back alive and fought a great fight. It was truly a great one for Chinese MMA.
Yeah, it was a super good fight. I think a lot of people expected this fight to be really good. And so it delivered. Delivered for the co-main.
Yep. And now the main event. I mentioned when this card was being made, a lot of people had a lot of questions for this main event. Jamal Hill returning after tearing his ACL. He never lost the belt. He vacated it. He tore his ACL, vacated the belt. Then Alex Pereira swooped in. He was already a middleweight champion. He lost that belt. We were at that fight when Izzy KO'd him. Weekly
mention of that fight.
Yep. And so he moved up to light heavyweight. He's a massive dude. He's even a massive dude for light heavyweight. It still amazes me that he made middleweight, but he beat Yuri Prohaska for the belt, for the vacated belt. And in his first title defense, he went up against Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill was talking a lot of rah-rah. He was talking a lot of smack. And for Alex Pereira, he doesn't say much, but he's so intimidating. Everything he does say is just very intimidating. And I saw a quote where it was like, he said, I wanted this fight to go 5 rounds. But after Jamal Hill started talking shit, I knew I had to KO him in the first. And I was just like, this dude is all business. And he's so funny. He KO'd Jamal Hill. Get to the results. He KO'd Jamal Hill in the first round. He got kicked in the nuts. And usually, it's a stoppage. Make sure you're okay to resume. You can hear the nut shot. He tells Herb Dean to back away.
Get off. Back off.
10 seconds later, KO's Jamal Hill and then emotes on him.
Dude, the emoting was wild. He did the Cobby Lame over a knocked out body.
But did you see who he was looking at?
Was he looking at Izzy?
Because Izzy collabed with I don't want to butcher
Cobby Lame?
Yes.
That's hilarious.
So he was looking at Izzy doing the meme. And
That's
Izzy did a collab with this content creator.
That's funny.
So
wow. That's crazy. I figured he was probably looking at him.
Yeah. The UFC 300 was one to remember, one that's going to be remembered for forever. And then to just cap off the night, we didn't even have this in our notes, but I think we have to talk about it. The return of the Mac.
Yeah.
La da 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 da. He's back, baby. I can't wait. Conor McGregor, International Fight Week, 170. Michael Chandler, Las Vegas. He's back.
Should we go?
I was at his last fight where he broke his foot. I'm thinking about it, but fortunately and unfortunately, I have a wedding I'm preparing for.
Yeah.
So is it financially responsible?
Not at all.
But
it'd be fun.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Tickets aren't on sale yet, so I'll look. But yeah, man, Conor McGregor's back after I don't know how many months. There's probably a statistic out there. I didn't really look into it. He's been gone for a while. I mean, whenever I went to that when I was living in Las Vegas, that was the last time he's fought, and
yeah,
he's back. 170. Michael Chandler. They did tough. The Ultimate Fighter against each other. And people were like, all right, when's this fight going to happen? When's this fight going to happen? There's talks for this fight to be at UFC 300. Nope. There's going to be talks at the beginning of the year. Nope. So it's been kind of pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And finally, International Fight Week. I think that's the fight. That's the time to do it. I've been doing International Fight Week and the right time to bring back the Notorious. So I can't wait. If there's a chance that we do go, man.
That'd be another good one.
Another good one.
So change the topic off of UFC here. I'm just going to kind of blur. I know we said in our introductory podcast that when it's random sports and stuff that I would be taking that over because you don't really care. A little bit of hockey news as the season kind of dwindles down. Playoffs are close. The Arizona Coyotes announced that they will be moving to Utah. They were purchased by Ryan. Let me get it right. Ryan Smith, who is the owner of the Jazz. Young guy. I think he's like 45. Owns the Jazz. He bought the Coyotes and will move him to Salt Lake. So just kind of super quick, but kind of a interesting tidbit. The Coyotes, they've sucked for years. Kind of the same situation as Oakland Athletics. Just kind of they've sucked. The ownership was terrible. They get bought out and they get moved. So that's all I want to cover on that.
And I guess I'll mention. I feel like we have to mention it. It's like the one time if you're going to talk about golf, this is the time to probably talk about golf. The Masters just concluded, and for the second time in his career, Scottie Scheffler put on the green jacket, and he shot 11 under.
Yep.
Which second place, I'm gonna butcher his name for any golfers out there.
Morikawa. Oh no, Morikawa was third, right?
He was tied for third, yeah. So this guy got Ludwig Aberg. He's a Swedish professional golfer.
Yeah, this was his first major.
Oh well, yeah, he got second and he shot 7 under. So
yeah.
I would say when I was back home, like still living with my parents, me and my dad would watch the Masters.
Yeah.
I'll
say this is the most I've ever watched the Masters was this year. I don't know why.
Why?
I don't know. I watched all 3 days. Probably I watched 5 hours yesterday. Watched 3 hours a day, and we had it on in my store from first tee off to we closed the shop on Friday. I don't know why we watched. It was entertaining this year. I don't know if it was because Tiger was in it and his first major's back. I kind of want to see how he did. He did awful. He made it past the cut, but he finished dead last after the cut. But Mickelson, it had a lot of big names. John Rahm, DeChambeau. DeChambeau played pretty well.
Yeah, he got he tied for 6th. He shot 200.
Yeah, and like I said, Mark Howell was up there. Jason Day. It was a lot of the big names were in the tournament. Oh, I was just why not? And so Scottie Scheffler winning was the favorite going into it. So interesting, cool.
I just hate when a guy like Tiger, Tiger's a great golf, right? But with these performances, I just hate when when athletes don't know when to yes, correct. Call it quits. Because it just sucks seeing these big names, these great names, and I know golf is a ageless sport, but
it won't be long before he'll probably start caddying for his kid. I mean, we got probably about 5 more years until we start seeing Charlie in tournaments.
I saw, I think it was a TikTok. People were talking how you can already place bets, future bets on when Charlie's going to win a major.
Win a major?
Yes.
Yeah. It's probably 5 years away. What is he? Is he 13 now?
I have no clue.
I think he's 13. I think he's a teenager. So, 18. Tiger was doing it at 18. So, yeah. 5 more years of Tigers in majors, and then we'll see Charlie take it.
You're a gambler. Put it on it. The line's only going to get probably worse for gamblers as he gets older, right? So put it on him now while he's still 13 or, young. Because when he probably makes it to the headlines, it's that line will probably close pretty quickly and be less and less favorable with all, the publicity he'll get. So, yeah.
Also, on the contrary to that, don't bet on a minor. That's weird.
I would also agree with that. As I was saying that, but
that's weird.
But hear me out. I feel like gamblers, they don't have
care.
have a lot of rules and guidelines. I feel like when you're a gambler, you don't care about anything else besides making money.
Yeah, ask iPay.
Correct. He was willing to steal his best friend's money.
Yeah.
Just so he could gamble.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, don't bet on a minor. That's just, like Caleb said, really weird.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping you would just cut that off, and you just kept talking.
I'm happy you brought that up. If he's 13, that's just
that's weird.
Because I want to know how
long is that? How long is that?
Open.
They saw him swing a golf club, I have a great idea. How much money have they bet on that too? How much has Vegas already made on?
Oh yeah, Oh, and hear me out. Golf is kind of a
rich guy sport too. Yeah.
So if there's gamblers within golf, they're probably dropping. I'm dropping millions on an 8-year-old.
Yeah, hammering the line on a 7-year-old Charlie Woods.
I'm gonna wait until he's 10. I might like the line better.
Come
on now.
He's showing a little non-interest in golf.
It looks like he's finally hit the weight room. His arms are becoming more defined. I think I like my chances at 11.
Yeah, so dumb.
Oh no, it looks like too many McDonald's. We're gonna have to miss the line on at 14.
Yeah, this topic is terrible. Let's switch it out. I don't like this anymore.
All right. So to close things up, we'll get to our hot takes. We're gonna try a game. It's gonna take a lot of communication and hopefully this goes well. Oh no, Caleb's.
We're good.
Make sure you keep your face in the frame while we do this game. All right. Good posture. Yep. Yeah, there you go. I know you sit in a very comfortable chair. Why have you not been sitting like that the entire podcast?
This chair
Slowly,
is so
you've just been like,
uncomfortable. This chair is so wildly uncomfortable.
that last segment, this is how you were talking.
Okay.
Sit up, great posture here, right? If I sit up with great posture, my head almost touches the. I have my camera zoom.
All right. What are we doing?
All right, the game. It's called 20 words or less. So
Okay.
I have with the NBA playoffs coming up. We'll talk probably about that next week as things are getting set. This game is going to be an NBA edition. So it's called
Okay.
20 words or less. So I have 8 NBA names, basketball terms, and I have to describe them to you, and you have to guess them. And I can only describe all 8 things, 20 words or less total. So it's not 20 words or less each.
I get 10
topic.
words. You get 10 words, essentially.
No, that's best case scenario, probably. No, because I'm describing it, so you're just guessing.
Oh, okay. So my words don't count.
No, we're just making because I have to continue. Like we're gonna count my words, and I can only use 20 words or less to describe all 8.
Got it.
Oh, okay. So my first one is Nuggets.
Jokic.
Okay. Disney.
Paulo.
2020.
I want to say Lakers. Disney 2020. Mickey. That's what I'm just thinking. LeBron?
COVID. Fuck, we
Bubble.
There we go. Okay. Yeah. They've used 4 words. We're gonna use 6 here. The Worm.
Rodman.
Okay. Dirk.
Fadeaway?
Let's go. Okay, that was really good.
Let's go.
that was really good. I was either choosing between Kobe or Dirk. So
thank God you said Dirk.
I'm happy you got that. Hornets.
Trash. Sorry. Shit.
These 7 words. Come on, Caleb. Because the next few are very hard.
Not for me.
Alabama.
Brandon Miller.
I'm gonna have to use 10 here. There's 10 words. Lou Will.
6 man.
Okay. This was the hardest by far. Use 10 words. Me.
%.
Photo. Me. Photo.
Me. Photo. Zach Edey. Photocopy. You guys are like identical.
Celtics.
Celtics?
Me. Photo.
Kendrick
Celtics.
Perkins.
Let's go. Let's go. All right. Now we have 7 words to work with here.
On the last one?
Yes.
We're
gonna do it.
I'm so good at this game.
We're gonna do this because this description is going to be. I only need 1 word for this. Unibrow.
Who could this be?
You definitely know it.
Unibrow.
You better edit some confetti into this.
Anthony Davis.
Let's go.
How
good was I?
Yeah, I think I was good. Getting 6 man off Lou Will.
What do you mean? 6 man like Lou Will. That's like a song and stuff. What? That I feel like I feel like that was
What
That's
did
a
you
song.
I've never heard that in my life.
I feel like Lou Will was a great. I
That's
feel
good.
like
You did
I
good.
feel like I was a great describer.
Yeah. Great
Kendrick
answer.
Perkins. You were a great answer. How did you not get Kendrick Perkins?
Yo, me photo? I didn't. Yo, that. I didn't.
So for people I don't know, I have a photo with Kendrick Perkins. I met
Yeah.
him when I was in California, and that's like Caleb's like favorite photo that he has like saved of me, and he sends it to me as like a meme. Anytime like we're in a debate or like a scuffle, he just like spams a photo of me and Kendrick Perkins.
It's a great photo.
I'm happy you got that. That was pretty, we might have to like cut the words down because we still had like
15 words.
or we just add more.
Yeah, because I got that pretty Dirk fadeaway. I'm glad because I was gonna. You said Dirk, and I was thinking like I don't want to say Luca or like European.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't know.
In the bubble, I feel like I did pretty good.
Disney threw me off.
Well, that's where it was played.
Yeah.
Disney World. And then I said 2020. And I could see where you were thinking with like LeBron.
Yeah.
Because they won the finals that year. And then I said COVID and it hit. So
yeah. I was thinking LeBron, like Lakers, LeBron championship. But as soon as you said COVID.
When I was making the list, I was trying to do like current players, past players, like moves, positions, like a bunch of like a wide range of.
Yeah, you did a good job. It was good.
That was a fun game.
It was all right.
All right. You just crushed it. You're staying humble. You're a humble man, Caleb.
Humble champ.
All right. Well, good job. Well,
thanks.
We might have to bring that back. Maybe we can do. I mean, you can.
Maybe I should. I'll do it next week, and then you have to play.
All right.
Or I can play. I can defend my championship.
It's gonna be Quinn Cook, and your response will be like, your describers will be like, point guard.
This sounds very familiar.
Good player.
Okay, Quinn Cook is a good player as a stretch.
Chris Paul? Oh no, Quinn Cook. That's how it will go for you next week. But impress me. Should we stick it with NBA or should we go to a different sport? Because we can essentially do this with anything.
Yeah, we'll do it with hockey.
I'm already tapping out. well, that's fun. So now we can kind of just wrap it up and get to hot takes. We always forget to do hot takes. We always
we're really bad. We're really bad about that.
Yeah.
Did you get any?
Really? Yeah. I did. I did.
Wow. Yet again, nobody responded to mine. Thanks, guys. Appreciate
it. We're going to. Oh no, I actually got 6. Well, I'll try to
pick 3. Pick 3.
At least 3.
I think we're kind of running. Got a good time going here, so let's get 3 of them and then wrap this joint up.
Those are more questions. I don't think this individual knows what a hot take is because he's asking us like our opinions on stuff.
Maybe he wants us to give a hot take.
I can give a lot of crazy hot takes.
Yeah, I don't want to hear your opinion.
Linsanity was the greatest period of NBA basketball of my childhood. I loved Linsanity. See, I can do hot takes for this. But okay. We got one. I feel like this one's not too big of a hot take because he's absolutely killing it. But Anthony Volpe will be an all-star this year.
Yeah, I haven't watched much of the Yankees. I know they're pretty hot right now, but
and we actually crucified Juan Soto last week, and he's actually like on a tear, and the entire like Yankees team is on a tear, which I just don't like the Yankees, so it's easy to hate on them. But this year, Volpe's batting .353, 18 hits, 13 runs, 7 RBIs, slugging percentage of .529.
Jeez.
On base percentage of .45. No, I don't think that's like too crazy of a hot take.
Nah.
I think
Yeah.
Volpe he's only 22, I believe. He's very
Yeah,
young.
he's young.
And finally a prospect for the Yankees that they can kind of build around. They've been having to go out and get the big names to bring into the team, and they don't really have a lot of farm system that's been panning out. So it's nice to see a guy like Anthony Volpe play well, and I hope he keeps it up. That's like the one nice thing I'll say about the Yankees. I hope Anthony Volpe keeps it up because I'm actually a fan of his. I think he's a good player.
I can't remember if it's Oswaldo Cabrera or Oswald Peraza. One of them two is playing very well too, but I always get them mixed up.
Yeah, and Juan Soto, like I just mentioned, he's playing well too. But Yankees every year, I feel like just wait for the pitcher injury news. I don't wish it on them, but it always happens. The Yankees.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, and then he said the Yankees are the best team in baseball and will be at the end of the year.
Probably not a stretch to say best team in baseball right now. End of the year, it seems like one of the teams that always collapses. They might have the best regular season, but they never make it far in the postseason. So,
yep, yeah. So, I think, yeah, those aren't too crazy of hot takes.
those are pretty mild takes.
I like this one though. With the NBA postseason around the corner, Lakers versus the Knicks would be the most entertaining NBA finals.
Yeah, the Knicks are super hot right now. Good team. I mean, a lot of young players, a lot of good talent on that team. And
I just
never wrong to see LeBron in the finals.
I don't know if it would be the most like entertaining like player personnel wise. Because I think the most entertaining like players
Thunder.
is the Thunder, yeah.
Yeah.
And then also like Ant Edwards with what he's doing in Minnesota.
Magic.
Paulo, what he's doing with Magic with all the young talent there. I don't think like player personnel, but like fan personnel, the amount of big names that would probably be at those games when you
Jack Nicholson versus Spike Lee.
Yeah, you're talking to a New York fan base and a Los Angeles fan base. So I think it'd probably bring in a lot of views too, because they're both very historic.
Yeah, two biggest markets.
Yeah. So no, yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know if that I don't think that's very likely. I think the Lakers will. The Lakers are rough. As a LeBron fan, I haven't watched many Laker games just because of the they just always crumbled at this point in the season. So another one. We can do this. Was the last one. Chet, Rookie of the Year.
No.
I mean, I think it's Chet or Wemby.
I think it's Wemby.
Yeah, I mean, it most definitely will be Wemby. But there's an argument for Chet. I think Chet's great. It's just
I think Chet's great, but Wemby proved everybody wrong. Not wrong, but I think
all of the haters wrong, and he's proved all of the people that believed in him, and like he's matched the hype.
Yeah, he matched the hype.
The hype was so crazy for him.
21 points a game, 3 blocks a game. I mean, just crazy numbers.
Nights where he is on that fringe of potentially getting a triple-double with blocks.
It's nuts.
We haven't seen anything like that for him.
Where's he at in Defensive Player of the Year voting, I wonder?
I bet he could also...
Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player. He's probably a finalist for that.
Yeah. No, he is. I think if he just stays healthy and... Like, I literally saw a video of him as like... The caption was like, nah, man, this can't be real. And it was him on a fast break, just pulling up from 3 and draining.
Yeah, his jumper is awful, but he does like the Jordan logo when he shoots.
At like his height though, and just like
being
able to just
the fact that he can move, the fact that he can move and be 7 whatever. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Chet's great, but it's gonna be clearly Wemby. Just what he's done this year is absolutely wild. So
yeah.
Well, that's we can wrap it up there, man.
We're
5 episodes in.
I know, over a month,
and the progress, like we have just been able to like master what works, what doesn't work, and we're going to continue to build on what works to hopefully just keep getting more traction. This week with the clips you edited, you absolutely killed it. So I'll give you credit on that. Like credits due there. The clips this week, our listeners, our watchers, our followers,
Yeah, they've
they
been
love
tuning
the
in.
clips.
Yeah, they've been tuning in. I appreciate everything. It doesn't go unnoticed. I know we said that kind of last week too, but we appreciate all the shares, likes, comments. When you guys engage with the content, we really appreciate that.
My favorite engagement of the week was on TikTok. Somebody that doesn't follow us, it must have touched his, reached to his For You page, and he just commented, "Dorks." No clue who he is. He just called us dorks.
Hell
I was
yeah.
like, I responded. I think I said like, just living our best life or something.
That's a little corny.
I mean,
That's awesome.
he just called us dorks, and we see all of it, and I love all of it. The good, the bad, the ugly. We see all of it, and if you aren't following us, I'm not gonna beg you to follow us. We're not gonna beg you to follow us, but
please.
The One Trick Ponies on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify. Caleb, your grandma liked the post on Facebook. We're getting some Facebook traction. I feel like an old head posting on Facebook, but that's how you reach the dads and the moms and the grandmas and the grandpas. And the cousins that you don't speak to, but they like the post and text you, "Oh, hey, I love the podcast." That's what Facebook's for. Thanks.
Yeah.
Talk to you in 8 years.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So we've appreciated it, guys and gals, and we thank you all. And looks like Caleb, what on earth are you possibly looking at on your phone?
One Trick Ponies.
You're damn lucky. That's what you had up. I thought I was gonna catch you in like some act, like watching a YouTube video or just totally checked out of the episode. Good plug there. Good plug there.
Thanks.
I think our social media looks pretty good. It's aesthetically pleasing with all the clips. I've been trying. Really good. Have you like? Do you pay attention? And this is the last thing I'll say. And we can wrap this up. But I try to wear different shirts every episode.
So I can see which episode's which.
Well, because is there clips with me wearing the green sweatshirt, like a dark green sweatshirt?
Yeah.
That's like my favorite sweatshirt. And
you don't want to keep wearing it?
I want to wear that every single every night it's clean, I wear it. And it's actually clean tonight. And I didn't put it on. I gotta make sure because I don't want people to think I'm like a dirty slob that like doesn't wash his clothes and just wears the same thing every Sunday night when they record a podcast. But I do wash my clothes, and I promise you, I will try to make sure until I run out of shirts and sweatshirts in my closet that I'll put on a new top half every episode, so we can tell which episode is which.
Just looking at the progress from the first clip.
The first clip, I'm just gonna say, and you can probably agree with me. The first clip was terrible.
It's so bad.
Atrocious. We were like stretched out.
Yeah, it's so bad. But and then I tried to do like the fly-ins. It looked kind of cool, but
we came
don't need it.
And now you're killing it. Now you're popping out like four or five clips every week.
Yeah,
I think it's necessary. And you've gotten a routine where you're killing it in the matter of a couple half hour. So
yeah, I need to try to spice it up. Don't want to get complacent. I need to try to figure out something to. Like I said, this week with the mini game will be my first week where I don't know how to exactly edit this the correct way, but because I don't know how to get the text on my end at least. I can't get text onto the video, but I'll figure it out.
As your co-host, I believe in you.
Thanks, man.
And I know everybody watching and listening also believes in you.
Thanks, guys.
And gals.
On that note,